It's funny, a friend of mine, Pat Bowers, she grew up in town and she was born in 42. But she was on Euclid and then over here, but she would go over to the movie theater, the one you're talking about. And I guess her dad worked for the gas company, I believe. And the Bambi, the Bambi was playing. And they had they call him a lobby card up on the wall. And she loved the movie, and he got it from her, got it from the theater. And actually got 2 of them. And then years later, when I got to know her, we have 2 daughters. And he gave me the 2 lobby cards, and they're like treasures because they were hers when she was the little kid, and I gave them to our daughters. So it was just one of those things that it made an impression on everybody. It's just one of those crazy things.
I can't say that I ever went to. I mean, remember in the movies. I don't know that I went to movies when I was in college or working or.
I'm too busy.
Well, yeah, and you and I went to one movie when we were dating that I remember, right? And you don't even remember, neither one of us remember what the movie was.
Where was that when y'all were dating?
Morgantown.
You
Yeah.
were
And
too busy talking something.
I don't know, but we went, but I don't remember what the movies were playing in the 60s, late 60s. I don't remember.
A lot of weird ones, I know that.
Were they weird? I don't know.
But you told me several times you came home every weekend from Shepherd to help milk.
Yeah, I did. I worked.
And you came home every weekend except the one weekend when
it snowed.
When it snowed and Mr. Tabbs asked you to feed the cattle and was it Popa Deacon?
Yeah, Popa Deacon at the Shepherd's farm. The farm that
Shepherd
Shepherd College.
That weekend because they had a blizzard and they couldn't get there and they asked you to feed the cattle.
And I did, and I fed the cattle, and then we said, they always said, now Shepherd never shuts down because there's so many kids here in the dorm, but everybody went home, a lot of them went home on weekend, but we had a week off from school. That was crazy. That was probably, let's see, my senior year or junior year, 66 or 67, was a blizzard. And but I couldn't tell you one movie. I remember those 2 movies, but I couldn't tell you a movie that. I mean, I don't know what was playing. I don't remember.
Well, if you're milking all weekend and studying and all that stuff.
Well, but I went to movies. I did. I went to movies, but
they weren't very memorable. I suppose.
Very memorable. No, I remember that. No.
So you talk about the Tabbs. Were they neighbors out there?
Not really neighbors, but more friends.
More friends. Yeah.
Our farms were not neighboring.
Yeah, they're not. They wouldn't be close.
They'd be Leetown, but we were friends. Lylan and Daddy and White were friends, and Cam and I were friends. Jane's husband is passed now. We're friends. We grew up together, and Bobby Carter Tabb and I were roommates one year at VPI, and I knew all the kids, really, their kids.
Yeah. Was there much of a? It sounds like there was all the farmers if you're cattle farmers or dairy or whatever, everybody knew each other. I mean.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They kind of knew each other. Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, if they needed help, like you helped them do that.
Yeah, farmers worked together. They filled silo together and butchered. Butchering was a big deal.
Was it?
Oh, I was a little boy, and we'd get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to milk, so by 5 o'clock we were ready to butcher. They loved to butcher. That was a big deal. Bill Henshaw, who lived across the road, was my dad and my uncle, and there was another farmer, I can't, maybe Vic Blue, but anyway, they all farmed, they all butchered. It was a big deal. I mean, we did.
So how would that day go? I mean, you had to start early.
Started early. You know, the hogs were in a pen. Usually had them in a pen. They killed the hogs and opened them up and just they kind of hung overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And they would then the next day they'd cut them up, make pudding and pound house, make sausage, cure the hams and the shoulders and the bacon meat, the middlings we called them,
Mm-hmm.
and that would been that was, and then it took by the time the end of the week it was it was a mess. It was greasy
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of work. My grandmother loved it too, and butchering was a big deal.
Yeah. So it was multiple days.
Oh
right?
yeah, it was
When
multiple
you did-
days. Yeah. Mhm.
And that was mainly when they were doing the hogs, or when they were doing. Did they do? They didn't do cattle too. If you're dairy, you're not.
Yeah. We would butcher a cow every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
but and we always had a freezer when I was a kid, and not everybody. My dad's generation. That's why they cured and then go back to back and back. But that's why they cured meat, because it didn't spoil.
Mm-hmm.
And we in the summertime had a lot of pork, and we had frozen beef, and we would have every now and then a lamb. We'd have sheep, and but and we'd have some frozen pork too. The pork chops and that type of thing. But back in even colonial times, that's what I used to tell people, that was the way they preserved meat, was to eat, was ham and shoulder and bacon and
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. And the sausage was preserved in the stomach of the hog
Mm-hmm.
or the bladder of the hog. And they put sausage in there and cure in it, and then it would be right on top of the meat,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be cured, and that's what we'd eat in the summertime a lot.
Yeah. So how did they actually cure it? I mean, was it in a vat of salt or?
Some people would use brine, yes, but my dad, we had the smokehouse is still. We didn't smoke, even though we called it the smokehouse. A lot of people would smoke the meat, but he would put sugar cure, and some salt and saltpeter, that kind of stuff, and on it, and then he would always write it to kind of where it went into the shoulder, the leg, put a lot of cure in, and he did a good job. My dad did. I never really learned to do that, and that's where they would, and you'd go out in July or August, and the meat would be fine. It wouldn't be spoiled or anything, but it was cured.
It was cured. So would they all do it at one place? I mean, all the farms bring
No,
their stuff.
they
or
would
each
do
one
it at
would
the
do
farm.
their own
At the
particular.
farm, we did ours in our backyard, kind of, and the chicken yard. And Bill Henshaw kind of did his there, and I don't necessarily remember some of the other people, but we would all, like I say, work together. And they were starting. The person where they were killing the hogs would have the fire started maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the water would be boiling and that type of thing, so they could scrape the hair off the hog, and it was a
lot.
big deal. It was a big deal. Yeah.
It must have been, as a kid seeing that, it must have been.
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't know any different, so I guess
sure.
I didn't think
It's just
anything
the
about it.
thing. Yeah. Right. All right. What else? What did we?
make lard?
And make lard, yeah. Lard was used to cook with. Peggy knows more about that than I would. But, lard was important, and never thought about lard, but that was a cooking, the Crisco today, maybe, and people don't even cook much today, but lard was used. It was to make pies, used lard.
Just
And
your crusts and everything.
Yeah.
Well, my cookies would have been out of the lard instead of butter.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
I was going
lard.
to say with the Tabs, I thought the Tabs also had kind of a store
They did.
that you went to, and that was.
They
the
did when that was
connections.
more junior high, senior high type thing, yeah.
What kind of, like a farm store? Did they have?
Now, it wasn't a
Their
farm
products,
store.
or-
They sold. It all started right out. After World War II, Lyle got some kind of a deal on jackets. They were green army jackets, and a bale of them. I mean, a big, this high and like that, and that, a bale of jackets. And he sold them for $1 or something like that. That's kind of how it started. And then he sold rubber boots and jeans, Lee jeans, and I guess some shirts and that type of thing. And his wife Gigi, who has recently passed away, also was. She would kind of do the selling of them and boots. I don't know, but he sold any work boots, did he, Mom? Do you remember? You
I
ever in the
wasn't
store?
here.
Oh, you never were in the store?
I was never at the store.
Really?
Never
I'm
there.
surprised at that. But rubber boots, he'd get rubber boots, and they were $2. I mean, it was reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And rubber boots, we use rubber boots to wash the barn. We wash the barn every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then you and Cam went someplace for training.
training to breed cows, how to
Breed
breed
cows.
cows artificially. Yes, we
Mhm.
Wasn't
did.
that Michigan,
No, it was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Illinois. Cary, Illinois.
But what was happening at the same time as you did that? Do you remember? The some of that happened? You talked about it, but I don't remember what you said was happening when you and Cam went out for that.
No, I don't remember.
About what year was that?
19 summer of probably 69 or 70, something like that.
Well, see, I told you I missed the landing on the moon because I was swimming at the
It was
pool.
when they landed on the moon.
And you said you were doing that with
All right,
Cam.
all right, so that's right. You're exactly right. So what year was that? What year?
69.
Because
Right,
I worked at
69.
the pool in 69 and I had no idea what happened.
Summer 69 is
And
exactly.
you said, well,
Yep,
I was
July.
with Cam, da-da-da-da. So,
Yeah, we were.
So you were in Illinois learning
Illinois,
how to.
Watched it on the motel. We were in television in summer of '69. Cam and I were both there. Yeah.
In Illinois, watching them land on the moon. And what'd you think about that? I mean, like, that's a long way from
Yeah, I guess we knew it.
the dairy barn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we knew it was going to happen and all that, so I don't know.
well, but if you think about it, like your grandmother drove the buggy, and before she died, there's somebody landing on the moon.
That's right.
How much she went through.
Yeah, she drove my her father around as he was superintendent of school. She would drive him around in a horse and buggy that he never drove. He never drove a car. And he was in poor health. And so she would drive him from school to school when he would need to go to a different school.
About what year was that? What years?
Oh, she was born in 96.
Mm-hmm.
And say she was 20, that would have been,
In
she'd
the
have
20s
been
sometime?
in the teens someplace.
Teens and 20s, yeah.
Now, I get confused. Who was what relative was the deputy or something at the Buzzard trial?